start this off with the live because I want to use the analytics for the YouTube channel because since you're gaining so much traction, we're getting so much traction. I got like over 100 subscriber organic subscribers, which I'm so happy for. Oh, let me mute this. Where's the mute button? Okay, here's the mute button. Let me mute this on here. We guess this way we can see this because in this way I can go to Creator Studio. YouTube Studio, and this is where I find the end button because that's where it is. I'm like, because I had to watch a video on how to end the thing just to find out because they make it so hard. But one thing that's so good, right, is I got my partner here, Miss Carrie Paluro from Worthy as Fuck, right here in the channel with Bounties and Brotherhood, and we keep it to a channel, but you know, we'll just get it. We'll just get it going so that we can understand what we're doing today and introduce yourself again and figure out what we're going to be doing on this one. This way we can chop this all up while I get this live content going.
I'm Carrie Polero, a relationship coach. I help high achieving women stop chasing love and start choosing themselves.
Nice, nice. So we had a special thing because Carrie took a class yesterday, and I want
Yeah.
to say, right, she's going to name the topic. It's going to be her show, but I'm just going to be the bystander. So we're going to let her take her. Carrie, take it away, Carrie, because this name the title, what the description, what we're going to be going over, and see how we can get going.
Well, last night we took a class, my partner and I went and took a class on creating optimal relationships. And man, it was a whole lot. But I think what I really wanted to talk about was the conversation it sparked going home was
Oh,
we are actually in another relationship course together, doing exercises together. And the other day we had to have this we got to connect for a few moments and share with each other what was so important to us in the
okay.
relationship, what we wanted, what we desired from the other person. That was the part. So his desire to me was safety and support. Um,
Okay.
I've been percolating on that like for a
Ah,
week, right? Like I'm like, well, how do I do that? Because sometimes I think I'm doing that, and I'm like, fail. You know what I mean?
right, right, right,
Like
right,
I think
right,
I'm doing
right.
it, it's not working. Um, So on the way home, I felt like it because we had been through all 3 hours of relationship training. Like
Wow.
maybe this will be a good time to ask because I noticed my energy was so decompressed.
Mm.
I was relaxed. I was in an inviting state. I wasn't like like just finished a workout and pumped up ready to go. Like I think it's important to recognize those types of things whenever you're going into a conversation. So I was
Absolutely.
recognizing all these things, and so I asked him, I'm like, the other day you mentioned to me that you desired safety and support, and what does that look like for you? And I shut up and I
Diggy.
just sat there, and like I allowed him to answer, and the answer he gave me was not what I was expecting, like at all. And I happened to notice his perspective was very different than mine.
Oh, of course, he's a guy.
And it was, and let me tell you how different it was. It was like, and the whole time he's talking, like inside, because my perspective is different. My body is like, this is, and I'll just be honest. This is the dumbest shit I ever heard. Like my mind is saying that to me, but it's not dumb because this
No,
is really his
his idea.
perspective, his idea,
Absolutely. Yeah.
his perspective, his like how he's viewing things. And if I don't understand that, and I really believe it's dumb, then the relationship won't exist.
He's got to understand that one too. That's why. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I was just noticing that about myself, where my mind went, and then in my mind I shut it down, and I was like, "You're just gonna listen and
Okay. Okay.
absorb
Okay. Okay.
everything."
Okay.
And when he was complete, I was like, "Is there anything else?" And then he continued. There was more. I was like, "Okay, cool. Let him empty it out and share with me like what's really coming up for him, and let me like really sit and hear him."
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because it's never the thing that they say it is. It's the story that they've attached to it.
Okay.
And also, I'll give you an example. Like, so his example was, whenever I'm cooking for you. Oh no, he goes, whenever I'm cooking, you come into the kitchen and it's like you expect me to cook for you. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, huh? Like,
Wait. 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 the roles is reversed. We explain that again. Explain that to the
So,
viewers and stuff because I got confused
okay, so we are two different people. I will meal
about the
prep.
kitchen thing. About the
Yeah, the
kitchen thing.
kitchen thing. Yeah, yeah. We're
Okay.
like
Okay.
I will meal prep once a week. I don't like to
Oh, okay.
cook. I
Okay.
go and I do my meal prep. I put all my shit in the freezer and I pull it out as I want it. He likes to cook every day. That's like I think that's part of
Oh.
his expression. He enjoys cooking. That's his thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't like to do that shit. I'm not going to
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
Uh, so
Okay.
like the way I look at it is he's in there cooking. I want to go spend time with him. This is the time that I know is okay that I can go hang out with him. Otherwise, he's going in his office. I'm not going to talk to him for a few hours. So
Okay.
I'll go in the kitchen. In my mind, I'm going in there to spend time with him.
Hmm.
He was seeing it as though she's coming in here because she wants me to cook for her.
Oh, oh,
You see what I mean? It was
oh.
weird. I was like, where
That
did
was
that come?
I'm shocked at that one. Okay, but
Right.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I
And
understand
so
it completely.
how he was perceiving it is creating a like some type of extra work for him, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm very busy. I get up, I have my routine. When you
Hmm.
come into the kitchen and expect me to cook for you, now you're adding extra work for me. And now that prevents me, his time is very valuable. Now that
Hmm.
prevents
Hmm.
me from that time of doing what I need to do, going back to work or whatever it is. And I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. So I listened to him just go. And then I said, hey, have I like ever asked you to cook? Like I come into the kitchen because I want to
Spend
like hang
time.
out with you. Yeah,
Okay, hang
yeah.
out and stuff like that. Okay.
And he didn't, there was silence, like he didn't really say anything. And I was like, I just want you to be aware that because the reality was this, like I'm coming in there and he's cooking for me and we both eat two totally different things. I'm very healthy. He cooks like he loves seasoning and stuff. Like and I
Mm,
don't like to eat his like not that I don't like to eat his food. He's a great cook. Um, but a lot like
it's
I'm
different.
good. It's different.
Yeah,
I
different.
a lot of times he'll cook for me and I'm like, oh shit. I'm gonna eat this. He was very being thoughtful. In my mind, I'm thinking he's being thoughtful. In his mind, he's thinking that I'm expecting it.
Yeah, that's completely two different paths, two different roads. It can blow up into a whole different thing, especially if he's holding resentment back
Yeah, and I'm
and
like,
all this
dude, you're
stuff.
like
Okay.
holding a resentment to this. I'm like, thank you for sharing this with me because I didn't know that me just coming into the kitchen was causing all of this. Because
Yeah.
it's never the thing. Like
But the
what's really
underlying
going on.
factor, where is it all based under? But I understand that because,
Hmm.
we're guys. You mean, and that's why
Hmm.
you have a different perspective of it also.
Hmm.
And that's part of the upbringing of everything. But I'm so glad you noticed that though. And you were able to talk to him and said just blow up.
Yeah, it was, but and I that was the last thing I thought that I would hear him say about creating safety and support. Um, because to me, I'm like safety and support is something totally different. But I understand where he was coming from because hit in his mind, he was thinking that cooking for me is a burden because it's extra work.
It is. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, if you think about it that way, it could be.
Right. Right. It could be,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it could be.
Um, and so yeah, like now that we have that kind of worked out, like where I explained to him, hey, I go in there because I want to like spend time with you and chat with you. I don't expect you to cook for me. And half the time when you cook for me, I think of you're being thoughtful. Please don't do it if you're not coming from like a loving place. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Like this whole time you're like building a
Oh.
resentment. I think you're being thoughtful. This is just crazy.
Right, right, right. But it's interesting because, but I congratulate you on being open because before you would have walked out of that shit. You would have stormed out.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You mean
Absolutely.
so the growth of it is so unique and unparalleled because of the situation that you're in with Abel, and you care enough about the relationship that it's optimal to be able to talk about those things, and that's what you learned in your class, right? And
Oh
it's
yeah.
beautiful because if you really really think about it, like what's that was saying, women are from Mars, what men are from Mars and women are from Venus or something like that, how we can
Yes.
totally think completely do different things, but like you said, the underlying factor, I just had this conversation with Andrea about certain things and how men think, right? And different things, even though she might not think See, this is so cool because I get women's point of view. She don't talk to me, but I communicate in a ways where I've changed where I don't even get mad. I don't get upset. I don't get resentment. I just tell her like, certain guys might want underlying factors from her, especially because of her job, flying all over the place, this and that, thinking, and she don't understand. And when she has guy friends, and some of them not gay, they might have underlying factors going on. She don't want to accept that, right? So what else has happened over the week since you took this class? Kind of interested.
Oh, well, and also we really dove into attachment attachment theory. We talked about
Explain that.
attachment theory and just the different like there's of course the secure attachment styles,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then there's anxious attachment and the dismissive avoidant. Now it's funny because we did this a long time ago, and of course I came up as disorganized attachment, um, and he told me, "Oh, I came back secure," and I was like, "Okay."
You guys are challenging.
Like, I totally don't believe you. He's like, I'm perfect. And
Oh
and
my
and so that's the
goodness.
joke. It's really actually
Right.
funny.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And because I think he judges it, to be honest with you. But we did it last night, and I already know the dynamic because there's the dismissive avoidant with the
Explain it all though.
against the well, the dismissive avoidant is likes emotional distance,
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay.
Is gonna when they have a partner who wants to connect with them, typically they fear connection, they fear emotional vulnerability, they struggle with intimacy, and so they try to create distance because it threatens their freedom
Yes.
in their mind. They believe
Yeah.
it threatens their freedom, and so anxious attachment is more about like craving intimacy, but from an insecure and worried place.
That's bad.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
not from like not from like a confident and
Right.
stable place, but like, oh my God, I have to have your attention. I have to have your approval, like this performance. And then disorganized is a little bit of both. Go back and forth because it was like not safe.
Okay. Now let me ask you this question.
Hmm.
Since the show is called Boundaries and Boundaries,
Hmm.
what kind of boundaries do you expect from Abel to have in this type of situation? Because me and Doc talk a lot about this feminism movement, the masculinity, the modern man, how it's all changed, right? We're from an older, different generation. We're a little bit older, but you look
Hmm.
at all the aspects of all this women, how they think everything else wants everything they want change, but they're not willing to put out. How does that all tie in from your perspective
How does it all tie in as far as, well,
with the arrangements, with the boundaries, with what you just told me? Like, how can you tie it all in together for the viewers from a
I
woman's point of view?
well, I think when you come from respect, period, like
Uh,
you both get to respect each other, like first and foremost. So for me, what supported me in the beginning was because this is the type of work that I do.
mhm.
I understood that he had some type of attachment style. Now, and so do I. I was very clear about me. Um, and I was clear about him. And so respecting that he has these tendencies, I want to call them, like because
Habits or
these
tendencies?
tendencies, habits, they create safety for him in his
Okay,
mind.
okay, okay,
Like this,
okay.
it's like a false sense of safety for
Yeah,
him.
okay.
Um, and I do the same thing.
But
So
that's his thing, and that's your thing. Yeah,
right, and we
it's his
play
thing.
off one
Yeah,
another. So it's just
right.
recognizing that, like, um, I didn't understand why he would want to work like 10 hours a day, right? Why he wanted to be in his office 10 hours a day and like knock things out from a from an efficient perspective
Okay.
for myself, because I'm a perfectionist and I'm like all about being efficient. I can understand that. So it was like, okay, so
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then we had conversations where he explained to me time was the most valuable asset that he had. And if I can just like respect his time
Hmm.
and allow for him to do what he needs to do, because if he is not efficient with his time, he doesn't finish the work that he's supposed to finish, and
Oh,
then
it snowballs.
it snowballs into everything
Yeah,
else. He starts to get
snowballs.
distracted in other areas of his life, and he's all over the place, and then that just doesn't create it doesn't feel
It's not efficient, it's
consistent.
not proficient, and it falls apart. It just goes into a snowball effect, and then he wants to shut down.
Right.
That's
Right.
yeah, I already know.
And it has nothing to do with me. And
Same
it's
thing.
just, it has everything to do with him. However, if I'm participating in the taking of the time, then that's when it can become about me.
Have
So,
has it see that's the thing about having with myself with kids. I could work 20 when I was in the depth of everything, I could work 24 hours 7. But I also had no time for anything else. Right? And then when I came out of prison and I changed, did I ever tell you about the $689,000 I buried and I found out that my uncle took it all and spent it?
oh my God, I want to hear this.
Okay, so
This sounds fantastic. My God, this is going to be the best story I heard all week.
okay, so when long story short, I did something that was like only meant for the movies. I hit a stash house and I got all the drugs and stuff. Got did everything, went on a spiel and I buried $689,000 at my grandma's house. Okay, where I live, and we still own the house. But through the course of my incarceration, I'm in my head thinking I have a nest egg to come out to,
Mhm.
right? For 600 through almost $750,000, okay, we can do that. I can start my life. I can get into a business. I can do everything else and do things where I can start my life up just like this because I have the knowledge. 3 months before, and then mind you, in between this time, he gets busted and tries to blame all the guns at the house on me while I'm in a prison camp,
Mhm.
right? Long story, fast forward a couple years, he dies 6 months before I come out. Okay.
Mhm.
6 months, my mom, I talk to my mom and this, and she goes, "You don't have any more money anymore." I'm like, "What do you mean I don't have any money?" And I have this, and that. He goes, "No, you don't have." Like, what? So now I have to make plans. I don't know what's going on. I come back out and I find out he was playing the man for the last 10 plus years. I go back to Hawaii for my dad's funeral. Um, HPD, Honolulu Police Department. I'm not even off the plane yet. They're coming. What are you doing on this island? They think I'm gonna just rampage and just go back to my old self, right? So in that course, th- all this short story, right? Can you imagine if you had to do 10 plus years, you got your nest egg, and you come out to nothing, thinking you have to start over, and all this time you had it planned out,
Mhm.
businesses, real estate, all this knowledge, going ready to go. So, but all this time, that's why Andrew said, if you were that person, she probably would have not even got with me because I would have been a different person,
Yep.
right? So when I say time, you mean when you have a lot of time that you have to get things done, and a clog in the wheel just happens to like change it all, you got to learn how to pivot. Then I had to do deep inflection of all this stuff that going and have a normal job, have a normal life. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you this. I never tell anybody this, right? When about I remember this 2006 when I broke my leg from playing softball after hammering some cultural things in prison. I asked the man up above, I need one more chance to make it right. And I guess I took it as part of losing that money was to make it right for the
Mm.
situation that I am now. And that's why I have kids. So it's like everything came back to full circle. But
Mhm.
I understand Abel's side because I'm regimented. Then I have kids now and a
Yeah.
wife and a whole full blown family when I'm not used to this type of stuff. But it also reels me in because if I don't have my stuff down, that's why I'm so efficient with other things. Because by the time they're up, my house has to be banging, right? And I understand that to the certain point. And Andrew respects that part of me, but she hasn't seen the other side of me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how does that relate with you and Abel in the situation that you guys come in now? Because it happens a lot, right? It has to. You guys are in a full blown relationship. It's not one sided.
Oh my God. So it's funny. We were talking about that last night, and he's heard so
No
many
way.
stories of how I was in the past, and he was like, "Man, these guys that you dated in the past, they must be fucking saints." Because I can't imagine who you were back then, because I would never have been attracted to that type of person. And
Yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah,
same thing.
for
Same.
sure. And I wouldn't have even wanted to be anywhere near you. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
no,
it's
so
so
true.
true. But what kind of what wait, reverse that back, right? What did he meant by he wasn't attracted? Did he not be in that life or he didn't know about it? Naive to it.
I think he was probably very naive
Okay.
to that.
Okay.
He grew up in like Catholic
Okay.
upbringing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went to seminary school. He was actually going to be a priest.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah. And then
man.
he discovered girls and he was like, I don't want to fucking be here anymore. No. Uh, so
This
I
is
think
great.
he just wasn't aware of that type of lifestyle where
Hmm.
I had been in that lifestyle since I was
Since
like 18 years old.
okay.
I had been around it for so long, and then I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, this is this is fun. For me back then it was fun.
It comes with all kind of different
Yeah.
stipulations, facts, and stuff like that. But it's great, right? So did that naivete from both of you get curious from him on your side or vice versa? Like, were you curious? Was he that curious, but he didn't want to dive full in? But it's a hard to explain the question where it's like, did you think that the change Carrie made it possible for him to open that door?
Well, I think he had opened that door a little bit before he met me.
Okay.
And I think what was really cool too was that when he did meet me and we shared, and like I like shared a lot of things about myself, because
Hmm.
remember, I met in a relationship class with him and
Correct.
he was my buddy. So
Yeah.
we were just sharing information. Um, and so the one thing that I'll never forget that was so impactful he said to me is, why are you making your past wrong? Why are you making that part of yourself wrong? There's so much judgment around that part of you. And
Mhm. It makes sense though. It makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah, it
and
makes
it
sense.
was true. I was totally judging myself, and I was judging myself, and it was so nice to be in the energy of someone who didn't judge me for anything that I did.
That is huge. That
And
is
it
that is
was,
huge.
yeah.
Right. But it's a because you guys you I just seen a video like, God puts your person in the vicinity of you to seek not in a dating app,
Right,
right? Or
right.
something like so like you was in the vicinity and just so happen you guys are what is it in a relationship coach and just so happen he's not even judging you, but at the same time, how did you take it? And what kind of recommendations could you tell other women about this since this is what you do?
Well, I think when he said that to me, it didn't land for me that, oh my God, I am really judging myself.
Okay.
Like I didn't realize the magnitude. Like I just kept thinking, oh my God, I need to change my life even more. And I was still in this like victim,
Still
I
in
had
that
like
stage, still in
fallen
that
in
phase.
this victim thing of,
Okay.
oh my God, this is what I created for my life. And I wasn't in that mode of, okay, how do you move forward here in relationships? Now, in business, that's different. I was like, cool,
Completely.
I can do this. But when it came to relationships, I had all of these belief systems that men weren't going to love me because of all the things that I had done in my past. Like, no man would love.
How did you how did you curb that to become the person you are today in case some of the women that are watching because a lot of women are watch you. I'm telling you right now. A
Uh,
100,000 views ain't and shorts is not chump change.
oh, that's fucking awesome. I had to come to some acceptance of myself.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was the key, because what I also realized too was, like, when I'm judging other people, like that's really just me judging myself. Like I'm judging in them what I really feel about me. And
Okay.
so, like, recognizing that I get to have a level of self-acceptance with myself. Or because if you walk around life, if you think about it, like if I'm just walking around life and I'm judging everything around me, like I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm just,
True.
I'm staying stuck in this loop.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, and we talk about mindset all the time. Like that's just not a growth mindset. Like you're just, I'm
Stuck.
stuck in this fucking loop. And then I'm wondering why the hell, like, how did I get here and how do I get out? And it really is just about my thinking. So it was me, forgiveness. It was this, okay, you get to forgive yourself. And man, it went even deeper than that. It wasn't,
Did
and then
it?
it was about, you know, forgiving yourself, forgiving your parents, but even deeper than that part was recognizing too, like, um, man, and we just did this exercise last night, recognizing my perspective of my parents, of like
Okay.
what did I really love about them and what did I just like not love about them, or like their traits, I guess you could say, their positive and negative traits, whatever I viewed were positive and negative. Everything is neutral, but in my mind I have created this positive and negative thing, and then realizing that that's how I view my relationship with God.
Okay.
And
That makes
like,
sense.
yeah, like that was like
That makes sense.
one of the
Were
biggest
you,
revelations for me.
let me ask you this deep question. Were you wrong in your perspective of your parents at some of the things that they've done?
Oh my God. I'm so glad you asked that question because this came up last night. We were sharing about it. Um, that I had this perspective. So Abel was actually sharing. He's like, I met Carrie's dad. And when I met Carrie's dad, I'm like, oh my God, we're so similar. Like, he's such a great guy. And
What was your face?
he's like, he's such a great guy. And he's like, I didn't realize how similar that we were. And he said, and early on in our relationship, I met her dad, and the way she spoke about her dad, he said was not okay with me. And so I said to her,
Oh,
and he
okay.
and he did. He came to me and said, "You get to change the way you speak about your dad because is not supportive for our
For
relationship."
him.
For me.
For
And
him, yeah.
so he was like, I don't know what you need to do, but you get to work on that. He's not here to coach me, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, thank you for that feedback. So I did. I went and did. I had already done a lot of work on my dad, but I did even more work. And to this level of, I was sharing last night, I'm like, man, my dad and I have such a great relationship today. Like, I remember when I dreaded being in the room with him. I just couldn't stand it because
hmm
he was going to do or say something to piss me off. And now I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait for him to call me, or when he sends me a text message, or when he comes to visit. That's a totally opposite than what it used to be.
Was it, is it because you was in the life? Is it because of the trauma? Was it because of guiltiness or you knew you was doing something wrong? Or was it because of the perception you had of how he treated you?
It was my perception of how he treated me, and
Yeah.
also it was like the perception of how my opinion. It was my
Yeah.
opinion, my
Yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
of how he was in every area of his life. So I mean, the reality is the man has not changed. He's the same fucking person that he was
Of
10
course,
years
he ain't
ago.
gonna change.
I just see him differently today.
And how does it
It's
feel?
Oh my God, it feels so good. And it really is, like, when I tell people it, like, the law of assumption is so fucking true. It is. Whatever I assume to be true is
It'll
exactly what I'm going to create.
absolutely. How would you fix it if you was to tell these women, oh, Carrie, rambunctious, retarded, crazy, mad,
Wild.
angry, wild, the old Carrie, because you have other Carries out there in the world right now.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? Because you coach these women and your story matches everything. In fact, how would you tell them what would be your top five deep downs things you would tell them to face either or dig or put in the work? Because the viewpoint you have now, it's so what they would say refreshing, like your word is, it's always refreshing because now
Mhm.
it's so different. Did time come into a factor there, or was it you?
It's funny because a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's time." It really, yes, and
And
it's
okay,
choice. It's
A
choice.
choice.
It's choice. And so
I get it.
if I'm still suffering with all of this anger, I mean, so for me, what was happening too is I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to forget. I got to forgive, right? Like in order to get to another level, I got to create some forgiveness in my life.
How
And then,
hard was that?
and like, but I'm fucking pissed. Like, how do you
Right?
forgive someone when you're pissed? And so,
You don't.
when I coach women, I'm like, okay, the first things that we get to dive into is yourself, your mom, your dad, and your relationship with God, or your higher power, or the universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. Those
Yeah.
are the four things that we address to begin with, because those four things affect your ability to see what's around you. And if you wake up every day and you hate your life and you think your life sucks, or you're in a negative state of mind, it's because of your relationship with those four things.
Hmm.
And so that is the key. But really, it's about me. I mean, honestly, like the relationship with myself, the relationship with God, that is like the main
I
thing.
mean, it's the main one, but you have to actually notice it also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you like I tell time. They say you have quotes, time will heal. But if you're not ready for the time to heal and you haven't put in the work, your shit will still be the same all the time. Your viewpoints, how you handle the situation, what is looking like. I mean, you gave two of them right there. What would be your number three deep thing you would tell old Carrie?
Stop trying to control everything.
Oh, I want to talk about that. Talk about that. Give me some examples of that, of how um Carrie controlled everything and had to let go.
Yeah, I think so. For me, controlling everything was a clear indication that I felt my life was out of control. So me trying to
Okay.
control any kind of situation, right? Like I mean, like controlling cleaning my house or controlling doing the laundry. I mean, it can be anything. Controlling going to the gym every day, what I'm eating, like being so in crazy, fanatically regimented, not from
Okay.
a place of responsibility, but from a place of I
Power.
must maintain control to have power. Correct.
Power.
Yeah.
The
100%.
yeah, it's the power.
And and that is really for me like that's just a sign like hey you're exhausted, you're so exhausted because you're running yourself ragged and you're trying to do all the things just so that you feel like you have some level of control inside, and really it's like okay, where do you feel where do you feel out of control in your life? That's where you get to go.
But it's actually not doing anything for you because it's all
Mhm.
in your head. It's all
Right.
in what you feel like doing. How does giving up control make it possible to have that optimal relationship?
Ugh, it's like surrendering to the process. And let me tell you, man, I like this is an everyday like conscious thing of I get to surrender to the process and not try to control because and this is another thing that I thought about last night is my reality or what I perceive as my reality of what I've created, my perspective of my relationship is really in my life is um is distorted at times,
Of course,
right?
you're
Um,
allowed that.
and so it's not necessarily an accurate representation. Like I am not an accurate narrator of my life. It really is depending on where I am energetically, emotionally, um, in my healing process. And so
Okay.
really surrendering that I'm not going to be like, boom, like get it right all of a sudden. I'm not going to just change my life immediately. Surrendering to the process of if I look at life as a journey, if I am like that childlike wonder, I think you and I have talked about this every day, waking up and going, okay, whatever's happening today, how can I continue to look at it with curiosity instead of, oh my God, you fucked up, you failed. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it like such
Oh,
a
I know. Yeah,
final thing.
absolutely.
That stops me in my tracks. So
Ah,
one opens the door for me, one stops me in my tracks. And so I get to let this piece go.
yeah, because even like because having children, you know what I mean? Like if I look at it, you look at my situation now with having children, when I look at their view, their lens and stuff like all they want is attention.
Yeah.
You mean all they want is attention. Why this? Why that? Can I have this? Like do this? Can I get this? Of course you can have it because I don't want to tell them no. I don't want them getting used to somebody always telling them no. I want them to learn that it's okay to be told no, but at the
Mhm.
same time, there's reasons why. For the same reason, I explain to them why is it happening this way, because the curiosity will actually get, and it's get the dynamics of the curiosity. We're looking into a child's lens from their viewpoint, from their window. It's just so innocent, and sometimes you have to go back to that innocent level of when you used to be, so you can grow from that point A to where you are right now,
Mhm.
right now. When because I would assume you and Abel are both strong-headed. Yes or no?
Oh, 1000%.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got his profession, he's got his regimen, he's got a time thing. I mean, I get it. I get him, right? I get you, right? For the viewers out there, but what is, I wouldn't say, what is the true value that what you guys both get from two different points, if you can understand that question, right? You get certain things. What does he get your perception? It's going to be interesting, right?
So he mirrors to me areas of growth that
Nice.
where I get to go. And one thing I also noticed is that
Potentially.
yes,
Oh, okay.
and like he's a mirror of if I'm judging him in that moment, or if I don't like something, I'm just like, okay, this isn't him. This is something within me. Because if if this area of me were clear, that behavior wouldn't matter.
True.
You know what I
True.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's recognizing that it's never about him, and that's a constant practice. Because like
Eh,
my tenant, like I want to blame you. It's your fault. Stop doing that
it's
shit.
easier to.
It's easier to, absolutely. Instead of
Yeah.
going, oh, okay, well, that didn't feel good, but why didn't it feel good? It's not him,
Right.
it's me. But also the things that I love about him. So like I didn't have such a great relationship with my family when I met him.
Okay.
Family's a big deal for him.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and so like that was one of the things that I loved about him, but I didn't have it.
Yeah. 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 I get it. I get it.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like I love that he is so at first in the beginning when we first started dating, I was like, this is the weirdest fucking thing. Like this can't be healthy that you want to be around your family all the time. Right? Like in my mind, like I'm thinking these things
I get
again,
that part too.
perfect example of my perspective. It isn't necessarily right and it's not necessarily wrong. It's just my
Correct.
experience. That's
It's
just from my
different.
experience.
Yeah.
And so um traveling with him, meeting his family, seeing how they all interact with one another, and I was just like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad, right? And then he began to kind of create that with my family. And we would go and visit them and spend time with them. And like my family like loves him. And I was just like, oh wow, like this is now I understand why family is so important.
I was just about to say it's when we're growing up in a life from a young age, from dysfunctionality to toxic to getting on your own to doing things that you think because you're grown, you don't understand the family uh energy that comes around when you have it right. Same like me with my second daughter's mom. I couldn't understand it. I honestly like, what the frick? You guys do this? You guys want me to go to this? We're gonna sit at the table for this, and then this is how you do it. I'm like, what? You guys are crazy. It's the same exact shit. But at the same time, now that you grow older and you see how friends come and go, people come and go, situations come and go, seasons change. You have Abel, I have my little family. I mean, even like if even if you have family that are just good friends that you call family, right?
Hmm.
Not even like blood family, that situation because sometimes they'll come and go, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But at the same time, you see the value in it because it's so and once you I wouldn't say it's like when I it's like when you get married, when I got married you asked me I was going to get married and have what I have now, Dave, I would have said you freaking crazy. But but at the same time, I understand the purpose of having purpose with the family. Why guys got to go through this? Why the perspective have to change? It's the most frustrating, the most rewarding thing at the same time. And it's a push and pull and a give and take every single day. But then at the same time, it's never gonna last forever. You know what I
Hmm.
mean I can watch my kids like even like I can watch my kids go through this phases, and I'm just so fortunate enough to be able to do it right now because I was given this second, third, fourth, fifth chance. I mean, how many chances does the man up above have to give me for me to realize these things? And this is why I help so much other men, so much other women. I mean, am I a relationship coach? Fuck, my relationship is not perfect like anything else. We have arguments, we fight, we have this thing, we have a small, but at the same time, that's life. We lifing.
Yeah,
Now, with your situation, let me see this. Oh, we here we go. We're gonna go over.
I'm good.
yeah, guys. If you're having problem with any situation that you want to talk to Carrie, how can they reach you?
On Instagram at Carrie Polero. And you can probably find me on YouTube at Carrie Polero as well.
Yeah, because she's all over the place. We got to end this right now. I'm sorry, guys. We got so deep into it, but the big promise that we have for you guys is keep watching, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment because a lot of the things that we talk about are the comments that we see on other sides. All right. Hate to cut this short, but we could sit there and talk for hours. That's the problem. All right.
Yeah.
This is Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood. Carrie.
Carrie Polero from Carrie. I'm booty as fuck.
Okay, we said that. All right, let me pause it. Boom.
Oh.
Let me pause that. Let me end this stream. All right, you see what's up, Emily? Yes, we did the stream. I was like, oh,
Oh, did you figure out how to turn YouTube off?
yeah, I
Because
got